ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी दारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So here we are seeing the further description of time as it is calculated from the atomic time up to the greater time. In the earlier few purports, when we saw about the atomic time calculation, we understood it till about Masa, right? 1 month, the period of 1 month. Calculating from very small time, we came to the point of calculating 1 month. And then 1 year, which is called as Samvatsara. So, what is the fortnight called as? Anyone remembers? Paksha. Shukla Paksha, Krishna Paksha. That is called as fortnight. And together, these two fortnight constitutes 1 Masa, 1 month. How many Masas together makes 1 Ritu? 2 Masas. 2 months makes 1 Ritu. Like that there are 6 Ritus in a year. So totally 12 months are there in a year. So that is how it was calculated. 12 months means movement of sun in both the direction, towards south and towards north. It completes its 1 cycle. That is called as 1 year. Like that, we live for around nearly, our age is around 100 years. So that is how it is being calculated. Now further, Maitreya Rishi is describing about the lifespan of Pitaloka, the lifespan of little higher planets called demigods, Swargalokas, and then further Brahmaloka. And if we compare, we find a great difference in the time, in the lifespan, as calculated according to our measurement between these different lifespans of different living entities residing on different planets. So this is what we will see. Now, 1 month of ours was equal to how many days of Pitaloka? One day. There 1 day is our 1 month. Similarly, in the higher planets, Swargalokas, 6 months. Correct? Is equivalent to our 6 months is equivalent to their 1 day. So actually if you calculate like this, we will see that 1 year on earth is 1 full day of demigods. So like, because 1 day then night also is there. So totally, our 12 months is 1 day of higher planets. Now, from this we will be calculating some interesting things. So what does it mean? It means when the one cycle of sun has completed from north then to south, complete cycle of sun, that is equivalent to their 1 day, and that is equivalent to our 1 full calendar year. So that comprises 360, not according to the calculation of modern this thing. They have around 365 days, but it is 360 days. 180 days Uttarayana, 180 days Dakshinayana. That is how it is calculated. Our 1 full year. And that is equivalent to 1 day of Devatas. Now, Prabhupada explains further how to calculate now their lives. So what is 1 year of demigods? How many our years? Huh? Yes, 360 years. Simple, no? Our 1 year is, our 360 days is their 1 day. Their 1 year, if you have to calculate, it is our 360 years. So, with this we will calculate now. The year of the demigods, Prabhupada says, is equal to 360 years of humankind. As will be clarified in the subsequent verses, 12,000 of demigod years, including the transitional period, which are called Yuga Sandhyas, comprises the total of aforementioned 4 millenniums. Very beautifully this is calculated. We will see how it is. Just remember this much first. 360 years of humankind is equivalent to 1 year of Devatas. Now, we all know what is the lifespan of Kali Yuga. 4,32,000 years, correct? 4,32,000 is the lifespan of, is the span of Kali Yuga. How do you calculate next Yuga? If you multiply it by 2, it's in a ratio 1, 2, 3, 4. Very simple calculation. So if you multiply Kali Yuga by 2, you will get lifespan of Dwapar Yuga, which comes to 8,64,000 years. If you multiply it by 3, you will get the lifespan of Treta Yuga, which comes to 12,96,000 years. If you multiply it by 4, you will get lifespan of Satyuga, the span period of Satyuga, which comes to around 17,28,000 years. So that is how this is calculated. Now you convert it into demigod years. So what you require to do? 4,32,000 years is Kali Yuga. It is our years. Our 4,32,000 years is equivalent to the span of Kali Yuga. If you divide that by 360 years, you will get Kali Yuga's span for Devatas. So for them, it is 1200 years. Their 1200 years have passed means here full Kali Yuga has passed. 4,32,000 years have passed. So now it is very simple. So 4,32,000 if you divide by 360, you will get 1200. So if for them Kali Yuga is 1200 years, how much is Dwapar Yuga for them? Into 2. 2,400 years. How much is Treta Yuga for them? Into 3. How much it comes? 3,600 years. How much is Satyuga for them? Into 4. 1200 into 4. 4,800 years. Now, if you add this 4,800, 3,600, 2,400, 1,200, totally it will come to 12,000 years. So that means it is called as one Mahayuga. When Satyuga, Treta, Dwapar and Kali, one cycle is over, it is called as one Mahayuga. So now what is one Mahayuga? Now let us calculate. So what is one Mahayuga in terms of demigods years? How many years? 12,000 years of Devatas is equal to one Mahayuga. Ours, how many years it will come? What all we have to add? 4,32,000 years, 8,64,000 years, 12,96,000 years, 17,28,000 years. If you add them, you will get 43,20,000 years. That is one Mahayuga. So that means our 43,20,000 years is equivalent to 12,000 years of Devatas. So this is how the calculation is done. I'll read this purport. Prabhupada says, the calculation is not given there, but if you calculate, that is how it will come. The years of the demigods are equal to 360 years of humankind. As will be clarified in the subsequent verses, 12,000 of demigod years, including the transitional period which are called Yuga Sandhyas, comprises the total of aforementioned 4 millenniums. Total of 4 millenniums, 4 yugas together, is equivalent to 12,000 years of Devatas. Now what are we actually looking about? We are looking about how to calculate the lifespan of Devatas. Right? We have already understood about human beings. Time calculation for human beings is in years. Right? Time calculation of Devatas is not exactly in years. It is their year. Their year we are seeing, isn't it? So, thus the aggregate of the above mentioned 4 millennium is 43,20,000 years. That is how it is calculated. Then next it says, the duration of Satya millennium equals 4,800 years of demigods. So now you have understood how to calculate this. The duration of Treta millennium equals 3,600 years of the demigods. The duration of Dwapar millennium equals 2,400 years, and that of Kali Yuga millennium is 1,200 years of the demigods. Then in the purport, Prabhupada is calculating, as aforementioned, 1 year of the demigod is equal to 360 years of the human being. Duration of Satyuga is therefore 4,800 into 360, which is equivalent to 17,28,000. So like this, other calculations are done. Now, in today's purport, we are seeing, Prabhupada is talking about when Brahma goes to sleep in his night time, the 3 planetary systems below Brahmaloka are all submerged in water of devastation. Now why this is important, calculation of time is important is, see, Brahma's day is calculated, our day is called Divas, right? One day. Our 1 month is called Masa, 1 year is called Samvatsara. That is how we are calculating. Brahma's 1 day is called Kalpa. See? And Mahavishnu's 1 breath is called Nimisha. So now we will see the differentiation between all these things. So, what is Ardhakalpa? Ardhakalpa is half day of Brahma. 1 full day of Brahma, day and night is called full day. Half day of Brahma is half of that. Day or night, that span. It is called as Ardhakalpa. Ardhakalpa is equivalent to 1000 Mahayugas. So now we have already calculated Mahayuga. Mahayuga is 12,000 years of Devatas. 12,000 into 1,000 will give us the span of Brahma's Kalpa. So that comes to 1 crore 20 lakhs of demigods' years is equivalent to Ardhakalpa, half day of Brahma. If you multiply it by 2, you will get full day of Brahma. So when Devata's life is around, other Devata's life is around, it is just 1 day. You see, this is 1 day of Brahma. Is half day of Brahma is 1 crore 20 lakh years of demigod is equivalent to just 12 hours of Brahma. Multiplied by 2 will give you full day of Brahma. That is called as Kalpa, which comes to, in our terms if we calculate, half day of Brahma comes to 432 crores years. 432 crore years, or which is also called as 4.32 trillion years is half day of Brahma. And full day of Brahma, 8.64 trillions of years comprises Kalpa. So this is equivalent to his Kalpa. And in Ardhakalpa, 14 Manus will appear in that, and in that time, day of Brahma, this Shrishti is remaining. And in his Ardhakalpa, when Brahma goes to sleep, is what is described in this verse. So when Brahma is going to sleep, what happens? All other, apart from upper planetary system, Prabhupada says, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka. Only these 3 are left. All others are devastated. When Brahma goes to sleep in the night, already time period of all other lokas are over, finished. And they are devastated. How they are devastated is, Anantashesha, he emits fire from his thousands of hoods. So, the heat of that, even though Maharloka is not devastated, we will find it further. There are many devatas, many rishis, like Bhrugu Rishi. He is in Maharloka. So what happens? Maharloka, even though it is not devastated, Maharloka, Janaloka and Tapaloka, all these above lokas, they are not devastated. But even Bhrigu Rishi feels the heat because it is coming from the down planets. So he feels the heat and he also fleds Maharloka and he goes to Janaloka, or he goes to higher planets. That we will find description coming up in the further. So, how the various lifespans of the different planetary systems exist, how devastation takes place, all these things, their time calculations, how long the universes remain in terms of Brahma's years, how long it remains in Devata's years, how long it remains in our number of years, is all calculated in this chapter basically. So, Prabhupada is saying here, when Brahma goes to sleep in his night time, the three planetary systems below Brahmaloka are all submerged in the water of devastation. Which are the three lokas, lower lokas? Swarga, Martya and Patala. All these three are submerged. Which are left over? Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, all these are higher planets are left over. Then what happens? So, when Brahma has gone to sleep, this is called as partial devastation. Full devastation has not happened. When does full devastation happens? When Brahma's, like this 1 day, 2 days, every day of Brahma, creation is there. Every day of Brahma there is devastation. Only planets. Universe is not devastated as of now. See, try to understand this. Every day of Brahma, lower planets are devastated, higher planets remain. So what will happen in the daytime? Again he will create those things. That is the work of Brahma. Daytime creation happens, nighttime devastation happens. Like this, Brahma will be living for his 100 years. After Brahma's 100 years, that universe itself is devastated. That is called complete devastation. What happens? Complete devastation. All the universes goes inside the breath of Mahavishnu, inside the body of Mahavishnu. So all these universes will reside inside the body of Mahavishnu. They are completely devastated. Once again, when Mahavishnu breathes out, that is called Nimisha. Because when we are breathing, it is in our Nimisha. So like that, when Mahavishnu is breathing out, all these universes are existing, and when he breathes in, all these universes are gone. And we are behind thinking, let me go to Brahmaloka, let me go to Satyaloka, let me go and reside there. Actually, what is it? What is the time period? It is nothing but, if you compare it to eternal time, even in the spiritual world there is a time. That is called eternal time. It has no beginning, it has no end. Here the time has a beginning. The time begins and everybody has a different time. Right? Everybody has a different, every planet there is a different time. When devastation is happening in the lower planet, it is not happening in the higher planet. But in the spiritual world, there is no creation, there is no devastation. This is the difference. So, here, if we compare it to what is there in the spiritual world, it is completely insignificant, it is nothing. So this is what Prabhupada is explaining. Brahma dreams about Garbhodakshai Vishnu and takes instruction from the Lord for the rehabilitation of the devastated area of space. In the night time, what is his service? In the night times, he takes instructions from the Lord about how to rebuild whatever these different planets have been submerged. in the flood of devastation. So he takes instruction from the Lord in his dream. The Lord guides him in his dream. And then when he wakes up in the morning, again he begins the construction works. And again he creates all this planetary system. And all of us living entities, once again we start our karma. So, very important to learn is about the insignificant time, happiness, lifespan we are living in this material creation. In comparison to the Sanatana, eternal lifespan, eternal time which exists in the spiritual world. So, this is what is described, and with every, this time cycle keeps on rotating. The time cycle starts in every universe with creation, and again it ends with dissolution. And once again the time cycle starts. That is how we are able to calculate Satyuga comes, Treta comes, Dwapar comes, Kali Yuga comes. These cycles will keep on rotating. And then further we will see in how in one day of Brahma, how many Manus will exist. And then Manvantara, when one Manu dies, again there is another partial dissolution. Not only in the night of Brahma, all these Manus, everything is finished. But in day of Brahma, again there are so many Manus. When that Manu dies also there is devastation. So this is material creation. But the spiritual creation, there is no dissolution, there is no such creation. So actually that is where we should aspire to go. I was giving a class in Bangalore and I was quoting that verse, quoting that beautiful letter which Prabhupada wrote to Dr. Rajendra Prasad. And Prabhupada says there, I have got a clue that at the end of this life, we are going back to Godhead, and I would like to take all my contemporaries, men, with me back to Godhead. And then further Prabhupada says, do not think that this is some crazy idea, I am some madman speaking. This is quite possible for everyone, as it is given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. You see? So this is the most important thing we should understand, the temporary nature of this material world, and that we should aspire to go back to Godhead. We'll stop here. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.